Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. This is LolaAjisafe here. It's been a minute. I've been missing. I've had things to do, things to take care of. But of course, the baby debacle brought me back in here, and I decided, you know what? Let's talk about it today. So with me, my companions here, I have my trusty brothers here. You can see the name. First of all, I'd like to welcome one of my brothers, Christopher Okwe Ajisafe. What up, G?
Good.
All right, and then DJ Dips, one of the hottest DJs in Nigeria currently. Also, blood brother. Cool. Dikwa, what's up now? Welcome to the platform. This is your first time here, sir. And of course, it was Dababy. I thought this would be perfect for you because this is Dababy.
I was just talking about how solid this platform is. So what do you start from? Just go first.
So no, let me give the intro. Let me talk. It's like this is like a conversation at a kitchen table, but we're not really at a kitchen table. We're really just kind of, people are watching us here. So first thing first, really, is, I watched this thing that ensued Monday. I think anybody on the internet now has heard of the debacle that occurred on Messy Monday between Dababy and his baby mother, Dani Leigh. So just to give you guys like a background, we know Dababy was dating this lady. Now we know Dani Leigh is meant to be an R&B or hip hop, like a singer. She's a singer, Sha. She's not Beyonce yet, but she makes money off singing. She performs, she does something like that, Sha. But anyway, with her, they were dating, and I think it got into the public's eye because while they started dating, his first baby mother. Oh, good. You're back. Okay, I can see having some good. But anyway, so his first baby mother, who's called Mimi, was having similar issues that he's having right now with her at the time. And all, Dani Leigh did at that time was, I wouldn't say she necessarily broke them up because apparently they were broken up before they started dating. But when he started having issues with her because she had his baby, then she released a single, something about yellow bone. Now, we all know, if you don't know, when they say yellow bone, they're talking about, a chick is talking about that separation thing, that colorism nonsense that we talk about where, well, I'm light-skinned, you're dark-skinned, and so he prefers a light-skinned girl, and blah, 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 blah. So the nonsense begins. And so, at that time, she had already kind of put herself in a point where lots of the females looking at her side are like, yo, is this what you're going to do? Is this how you're going to play? Is this how it's going to play out? So already she had made enemies based on that. Now, Mimi is no punk. So Mimi's been going back and forth. They've been beefing on the internet. So, fast forward a year or 2 years later, this girl is pregnant for this character. And I think as soon as she announced or told him that she was pregnant, he broke up with her. But then after that, they got back together. They had this back and forth thing. So anyway, baby is probably 3+ months old. She's been staying with him in his apartment somewhere in Charlotte or wherever he stays. And then I guess of sudden they were having some kind of interaction. And then he decided to record everything because he says for his protection, he wanted her out of the apartment. And, from what we're told, we weren't there, but we were told via her that he called police officers at 3 a.m. to have her removed from his penthouse because he doesn't want her there anymore. And he says he started recording and putting up live because he wants to protect himself and he doesn't want people to say that he beat her or he did anything else. Now, in the midst of all of this occurring, while he's telling us he's protecting himself, the thing that got me thinking like, yo, I need to talk about this was in the middle of one of his lives, he turned to the mother of his child. This, and by all intents and purposes, Dani Leigh she's an easy 9 or 10. Beautiful girl. I believe she's smart. Apparently, she's been making her own money. All of a sudden, he's disrespecting her by saying, you know what? And it's on a live. You ain't even my girl. You're just a side chick. Yo, those are fighting words. And she stood there just rah, rah, rah. But it was just so embarrassing. So for me, it was just like, you know what? Let's talk about this. It's like, I want to break it down. Did you guys kind of follow up? Did you guys hear about the story or follow anything on the story?
Yeah, I saw a little bit of the live, but I didn't really know what transpired, like what started it and stuff.
Yeah, so there were millions of comments.
As well. So, Ops, if you want to go first, or...
No, you could know what's going on. You should start first. Let's.
So, like for me, I'll just say. So I don't know. I don't really feel sorry for the girl because, like, first of all, when you decide to go down this rabbit hole, you know what to expect. You know what it comes with. Do you understand? Like, it's almost easy. Like 9 out of 10 times, that's what always happens. These guys make money, and then when they make money, they realize that they have access to all these many babes, and then they start misbehaving. It always happens. We see it every time. We see it every day. It's not new. Yes. It's not new. So
But
I
she
don't know,
thought she was
I don't know.
different, I guess.
But I feel like that was
She
messed
really,
up. I mean, going online and then recording and saying all that stuff, I feel like that was messed up, you guys. But at the same time, man, how old is the baby? So I'm sure when you check, it's like 24 or
they're all in their
23.
20s. I want to say he's more
Something
like in his late
yeah.
20s. Yeah. But
I don't know. So I think it's too much money. Too much money syndrome. Annoying these people.
yeah,
Too
but
much money syndrome.
even with this too much money syndrome, the thing is, I think, is like, but it's still, I have pity. So my point, there, I have some pity for her. I have some pity for her because she's a human. Now, does she have something to carry in this? She does. But Misha, as a woman, I still have some pity for her. Even though she played herself, I still have some pity for her. That's the thing. So, okay, you have anything to say?
Yeah, because the thing is, when I first heard about this, I first thought, okay, the baby, he had that issue with the stuff in his concert, the homophobic comments and everything. And then you start thinking, what's going on? The guy's in the news again. But hearing you kind of summarize the story, the first thing I thought is, well, with celebrities, things are always on a different level when they're doing their thing. When they go through the drama and the press, it's always a million times worse. But not only that, us as outsiders kind of looking in, that's why sometimes it can be a little tricky. And I think it's definitely important to see various views of the story. Obviously, in the first place, he invited all of this by recording the live. So he invited all the scrutiny. He invited it. But even as I was listening to what you were saying, it's very hard to pick up an objective slant of what really happened. Obviously, the very worst thing he said, calling her a side chick, is really bad. It's bad. But if you were a fly on the wall in most people's relationships, calling someone a side chick probably is not the worst thing you will ever hear someone say. It just so happens that, because he might have said that and not even really believed it. He just wanted to give us something that kind of stung. And it's way worse because people heard that and were like, what? How would you do it? And of course. But then for me now to try to make an objective statement about that, it's really hard other than to say, yeah, maybe he shouldn't have recorded it. That's one. And then two, I understand what Dipper is saying. I understand what you're saying. Do I pity her? I don't know. I feel so far away from the story that it's hard. I happen to like one of her songs. I think that, she's a cool artist.
She sings?
She's not Beyonce, but she can hold a mic and hold a couple notes. From what I'm told. She has maybe I've heard it, but I don't know it's her.
Yeah, she got a tune that's decent. The baby too, as a rapper, as a personality, I think he's a cool guy. Otherwise, I don't know. Sometimes I think he makes some questionable moves. Therefore, again, brought up a great point that, well, how old is he, like 22 or 23 or 24? I don't, really know. But yeah, it's just, I don't know, like, it's very hard to really know how to kind of judge the situation other than to say, kids, leave your business, behind closed doors. Yeah, leave it off the internet.
And there was something else you pointed out again where you were like, you don't really know what started the whole thing. Because really, all we're really seeing is him bashing her. We don't know what caused him to do that. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah. And it's always,
No, I'm just saying, like, where did it really start from?
No, it's true. It's true.
That's true.
No, and it's always worse because I feel like, and I guess this is where our bias comes out now. Let me speak from my own bias. I think that when the optics come in, it is actually very easy for a man to look bad. Now, the baby is not someone I'm going to hold up as someone who is like, oh, he's so misunderstood. I don't really know about that. But nevertheless, we're having kind of like a educated, casual conversation here.
Yeah.
And so it's like, I want to be disciplined and not just fire. Like, look at this idiot. Like, there must be something wrong with him.
That's my job. That's my job. Like, let me diss him. Y'all can give us a mad point of view.
Yeah.
And then like
Nepa
has done.
No, don't worry. We can hear you though. But I can hear you, right? Keep talking. Don't worry. At least I can hear you.
So, all right. So I'm going to ask this question. Okay, for everybody that is listening, I'm in Nigeria, and in Nigeria the light is very bad. So
hey, Nepa don't take light. Hey, look.
Yeah. Okay, so it's bad.
It's bad. Oh, Nepa.
So I was going to say something there. If you were my girlfriend and I called you a side chick, would you be surprised?
Are you saying should she be surprised?
No, I'm saying if you
girl,
were my girlfriend and I called you a side chick, would
that
you be
means,
surprised?
you know what? If somebody,
won't you have
like,
seen it coming? Won't you have felt like?
No, to me,
this thing
if
is not
somebody
really a
says that to me, if I insert
I don't know if
myself
you
in
get
that
what I'm saying.
situation and someone I'm dating says that to me, that means it's like, okay, so you know when people are beefing and they call each other names, because so hey bitch, hey this, that. I feel like that for him was just a way of throwing it out there, just as another right in front of your chest. But he stabbed her in front of her chest, in front of a ton of people. It's one thing to have like a private dispute, like, hey, you're blah 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 blah, MF this, MF that. But when you throw it out there, particularly because you know the rhetoric, you know what's ensued, you're literally like, you're firing with like you're using an AK and you're like, go right in front of everyone, like you're literally shooting your baby mother in front of everybody. And that kind of leads me into what I think, from my observation, to me, it's like toxic. It's like if you can't fight, and you know, we don't necessarily know how to fight King, but when you're fighting like this, like, because he knows his power. The baby has what, 25 million followers, at least 20 something. So maybe he has 20 out, maybe 12. Sorry, forgive me, because I'm going to be corrected down there in the comments. I think he has at least over 10 million followers. That one I know. Now his story and his lives got carried into Shade Room. Shade Room, we know, has 25 million followers. So we are talking of at least anything upwards to 5 million people being aware of what ensued. So it's like if you're using AK, like that public, this is like a public disgrace, public lashing, and a public assassination, trying to assassinate her character. Now, is he trying to assassinate her character because, you know, he just wants to destroy her so nobody wants her? Or is he's just fighting and he's going to go and beg her tomorrow? Because from what I understand, this is not the first time they've had, and I don't really follow them. It was just that disgraceful comment he made that made me want to pay attention. Maybe he's fought like this in the open before. I don't know. So to me, it's like with a toxic relationship, what is a toxic relationship to you all? And how would you now say, okay, you say this is what you think a toxic relationship is, and how would you now connect it to what we've seen between these two? Who'd like to take it back first?
With these guys, sometimes I don't even know who advises them, because with all of that drama that you just faced online with the gay comments and everything, are you meant to be doing stuff like this? Like,
go sit down and make money quietly, Shay.
I don't know, man. It's crazy.
So yeah, to you, what you in your words, on your, like, when you look at
toxic relationship is, I'll say it's an example of what they're doing. If it's something that's happened
tell me what
before,
kind of qualities are you seeing that you think that this is toxic? Yeah, what up?
Arguing every time, fights here and there. What else? I mean, it's mostly unnecessary arguments. Always arguing back and forth, and then breaking up and making up like 100 times. Yeah, I'll say that's a bit toxic. I used to be one of those back in the day.
Not my blood.
Open knows about it.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, it was one of those ones.
OPE.
Always.
So your partner to what was ensuing with homie over here?
No, but I wasn't going crazy like that though. I wasn't going crazy like the baby shower. I was the one receiving all the bashing. Really.
Oh, now I don't want us to think that arguing is part and parcel of a relationship, but I think it's how you argue that might actually now ensue as in being toxic. Now, before I talk, Professor C.
I think toxic is one of these new words. It's like, it's so funny. I'm young forever, but sometimes there's certain words that just make me think, I'm definitely not young. Because this toxic word, it reminds me of things like narcissist, and it's like it's a word people love flinging at other people.
We're
like it's to fling with other people. For me, every relationship, if we were to define toxic properly, like pedantically, I would say every relationship that is led by two people who probably haven't gone to therapy and probably don't know who they are, more than likely, every relationship like that is a toxic relationship. But I think that when it's used these days, it's one of those relationships with the extra violence kicked into it. So fighting, abuse, throw somebody out of the house, blow, something violent, basically. That's or when it's not violent, something extreme in terms of like maybe excessive cheating, just, there's always something that's extreme. And I think that's what most people see as, toxic relationships. Maybe not necessarily, they're arguing all the time or anything. Because everyone
or or breaking up today and getting back tomorrow.
Yeah. But I think it's something extreme.
Like
yeah,
times.
probably, yeah. So I would look at it as something that is usually quite violent or just full of cheating. Yeah, that's it.
And these kids these days, sorry, before you enter, these kids these days, I feel like they use it as a lazy approach to not work hard for the relationship. Right? That's this guy is toxic.
No, I mean, but if kids are playing house, they don't know what to do because you're a kid. Kids are meant to be sucking on lollipops and playing like Ludo. Like, you're not meant to be having kids. So kids having kids really has probably brought this concept of toxic relationships to light. Not to say that adults cannot have toxic relationships, but if you don't even have the tools. So kids are raising kids. So you have generations of people who weren't raised right anyway, didn't really see a healthy relationship anyway. So they don't know what's wrong or right. They're just living in, So to him, he feels like a prize right now because at least he takes care of his. He's been known to take care of his children on the outside. So now that's a banner for him. Like, I'm a good dad. I'm an asshole as a partner, but I'm a good dad. That's his banner. But for me, before I digress, it's like for a toxic relationship, it's like all these things you guys said, like this cyclical kind of fighting. Like, if you can't really be together, then don't be together. But I think to add on another layer of it, it's like, you know how you guys said that what ensued before he started recording. Another component, I think, of a toxic relationship is like when they, that another fancy term, gaslighting. So we don't know what he did. Like, he probably knows how to press the buttons, and he's everyone will tell you that this guy is very press savvy, knows how to press buttons. That's probably part of the success of his career. So he understands how this game works. He's not a dummy by any means. Yeah, we can hear you. What's up? What were you saying? Were you saying something,
I'm trying to. Can you guys still hear me?
Oh yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, we can hear you. We can hear you.
Oh, we lost him for a second. Okay, so when he comes back, but for me, toxic relationship really is at a point where, what if he was gaslighting her and he decided to press her buttons and then start recording? So she comes out looking like rah rah rah. She's the only crazy one there. Whereas that I'm just playing devil's advocate here. So to me, that's another component that he might be doing.
Of course it is. But then that's also part of what I'm saying. I mean, the baby is a very easy target. It's not impossible beyond the realms of possibility that he was doing that. But I feel as if even if someone says, okay, he's press savvy, I would contradict that, because the homophobic issue that happened a couple months ago, if he was a little more press savvy, that never would have happened. And his attempt to rectify were woeful. So it doesn't even matter about that. I feel like that's what tends to happen when we as outsiders get something. And I feel like as a guy, he may deserve it completely, but as a guy, that's what it's going to go through. People are going to be like, oh, you know what? He tried to just embarrass her. He knew what he was doing. He knew his power. But because of other people in the public eye, well, I mean, DJ Academic is not exactly like a celebrity or superstar, but he's somebody.
But we know
DJ
him.
Academic, yeah, he's someone who he gets involved in, questionable relationships, and when things go wrong, he'll be the first to either make the story public or try to get as much receipt as possible. And so, if no one told me anything, and someone said, "Oh, you know what? The baby went online and said, I'm trying to get my girlfriend to leave, and I just want to document it," I would have thought he was probably worried that something could happen, that when the cops come, it gets twisted and it's something else. And so that was his whole point of trying to get online. That would have been my first.
Okay, no, I get that.
Yeah. So that's what I mean. But all of these things are options. All of these things are possibilities. So yeah.
Oh, you're saying that maybe he was recording it before she.
Yeah, I was saying before when you dropped off, I was saying that maybe he was like, another component of being in a toxic relationship is when you're gaslighting, and that means you're like pressing buttons, throwing stones. I'm like, who me? So all of a sudden he's like poking her, then all of a sudden he hits record when she's responding to his poking. But it's like, he target. So this is all what we don't know what happened, but just on the outside,
maybe he was
something
doing it to have
right.
receipts. Maybe he was doing it to have.
Yeah, it's the
Yeah,
same thing. It's the
clearly
same thing. It's the same thing. Yeah.
In case she have tried to
he wants her out. But I guess to me the question is, how do people, or why do people? And when I say people, you guys can speak for men, but I want to speak for a woman. Why would a woman get involved in a toxic relationship? And I started running through the list. Like, you're in Nigeria, we know that in Nigeria, being a Mrs. is like it's a title. You know, you put on your shoulders, like you know, you pop your shoulder. Yeah, I'm married. That because people are still spending millions of naira when there's not even money for weddings and for the marriage to last maybe 1.2 seconds. So it's like, okay, is a woman under pressure? And so she sees the guy who fits the public specs. It's going to make, so the optics looks good, but behind the scenes, it's horrible. Is she like, is it finances? Because one would argue that the baby is like 5'2". I don't know. I'm being a little facetious. I don't know if he's 5'2", but they say he's little, but at least he can, if he stands on his money, he's tall, is what I hear. So the thing is it finances? That, although she's not broke, but at least her baby father isn't broke or isn't in jail. Is she in this relationship because of his finances? Is she in this relationship because self-worth? She don't really, yes, she's a beautiful girl because anybody will look at her. Nobody will look at her and say this girl is not beautiful. Yes, she's a beautiful girl, but does she really believe that? Does she really love herself and believe in herself? And all these new age, you know, things about loving yourself, headed, all this rah, rah, rah. But real talk, does she really value who she is to still be embroiled in a relationship one like this, and actually have seen him do something similar to the first baby mother, Mimi? So it's like when you see this happening in front of you and you still persist and go ahead and say, yo, I saw that he strangled that chick, but he's not going to strangle me because I'm too pretty. Like, I don't know. It's like, what would involve a woman like that to actually say, okay, you know what? This is the kind of guy I want to date. Because I've seen people talk about the baby, and everybody knows since this, you know, the debacle with, you know, Dave Chappelle, when he did his special, that everybody's like, you know, trying to cancel. That's my dude. So I'm not. That's my dude. But when Dave Chappelle was like, you know, this guy shot and killed somebody in Walmart. So you are one with a gangster. Apparently, I mean, that's grounds for being a gangster. And then two, he's known to abuse women. But we don't know. But so I'm just saying. So you see all this, but you're just like, yeah, this is the perfect guy for me. He's the one. I don't know. I don't know.
Like
I'm just.
I feel like Babe's going to relationships for different reasons. So I think for her, man, I don't know. Maybe I mean, if she doesn't leave, then maybe it's because of what being in a relationship with the baby can do for her own career. You know, she's the baby's girl. Maybe if
I guess. I mean, she's
it's not on the same
notoriety.
level. Yeah, because I don't even think
it's not the same. No, it's definitely not the same level. I'm saying like, maybe his success can rub off on her, and then.
Oh no, I'm agreeing with you. I'm agreeing with you and telling Leigh that. Yeah, I'm agreeing with you and telling Leigh that I think that's very plausible because yes, she's an artist, but I wouldn't call her a successful artist. I would just call her an artist and leave it there.
I mean, even in Nigeria, you see lots of babies that are in these relationships where he's not paying them. They're being hit on every day. They're being cheated on. But when you look at it, maybe the guy has money, right? He has a lot of money. So you know that thing where they say what's that thing they say? Be happy in a bicycle or cry in a Benz, right?
And if you're crying in a Rolls, if you're driving around, you know,
it's fine. A lot of them are crying.
If tears in your Rolls. That's okay. But if you're crying in a bus, like come on, you're crying, you're sweating, all this stuff.
Be happy in a bus or cry in a Range Rover. A lot of them are crying in Range Rovers, and they find a way to be okay with it because when babes are going through shit over here, like that's even in Nigeria as well. But in Nigeria's situation, I feel like Nigerian women are raised to become wives. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. Like they're brought up to become wives. They don't tell you, hey, you know what? If you don't want to get married, you can start your own business, or you can do this, or you can do that. They don't tell you that. They just tell you, go to school. When you
be
finish,
a good blah 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 to be a good
your husband,
wife, right? Everything's geared to be that good woman.
That's all it is.
Yeah,
that's all it is. They don't tell you. They don't tell you other ways you can do it. You know. So in this part,
I think a lot of cultures
are
like that too. I mean, it's
a lot of African cultures.
I mean, African culture, but if you think about, other cultures as well, Asian culture, that's a big thing too. The woman is geared, you can be all these things, but it's like geared all to be a good wife, and the man is geared all to be a good provider, not to be a great person, not to be a great father, but just to be a good, like that's top of the list. The other things come after that, and I think a lot of cultures have that issue, and it's like, where do we find the balance? Like, it's like we don't all of a sudden want the guy to.
I feel like even American culture is like that, so. Because when you guys kind of present a president, those are the type of
the
things that
family
you
values,
guys
right?
try and
The
the family
traditional,
values
right?
is
Yes.
a
So yes.
one
So
man guy.
exactly. So traditional American family
Yeah,
values, yes, would
it's
be
like that.
that. He's a great provider. But as per I know, as per Yankee, they will now say, he's a good dad. They'll throw that in like that.
Yeah, all
That's
that kind of
see
stuff.
that because he comes back from work, he's with the kids for 30 minutes. He'll carry them, raise them, take
All that
pictures,
kind of
and
stuff.
then put them down. But at least he's a good. So yeah, that is the general thing. So yeah, I mean. But I say this to say that, yeah, there are many reasons that we find ourselves in toxic relationships. But I think sometimes discussing on a platform such as this is like sometimes we have to look at the mirror. The best teacher is life itself. So it's looking at the mirror and having that reflection of, am I in that kind of situation? Now, am I saying somebody in Nigeria who's living in Ikoyi right now or living in VI should now just throw everything away? I didn't send you. I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying be aware. I've always said, one of the things I always say that I've said is God bless the woman who has her own, because that really gives you options and it gives you a certain sense of freedom and a certain sense of peace. Nobody's saying don't be in a relationship, but if you can have the luxury of being in a relationship, if you choose, that means you can choose what suits you. And that's what you see that's more common here when you say woman who has, because in Nigeria it's a little harder sometimes. You do have women who are independent, but it's a little harder sometimes with the system, depending on how you grew up, to have certain things come your way, being able to go to a great school, get a great job. Because in Nigeria you can have all these, go to great school, be the top of your class, but still not be able to have the means to set up a business or be in a really good company that pays you well. So that's the thing. It's like understanding that. But before I digress and make it a completely different topic, it's like, so we've talked about toxic relationships. The next thing,
but
really,
actually,
that just
can I say something before we move on?
Yes, go ahead. Yeah.
Again, just this is not even really devil's advocate. This is really it's in my heart. It's not really, I don't try to be contrarian or anything. It's just I can't help it.
Throw it at me.
People, especially authors, are starting to, self-help authors, are really starting to see that trying to divide the world into hero and villain can be very destructive a lot of times. And I know in this world, like, the people who are hurting the most, the victims of this world, in whatever situation you find yourself, we have to spend a lot of time kind of like making sure that they're okay, catering to them, making sure it's fine. But I feel like we are a world of victims. And I say all of this to say, when we talk about toxic relationships, Dababy looks like somebody who's toxic. But then also maybe Dani too is toxic herself. And it's two toxic people who found one another for various reasons. Because like Dippo said, some people want to cry in a range. The logic that will make her cry in the range, whether it's because of her parents or society or her own eyes, that's her. But not even that. Dababy who just is determined to make mistake after mistake after mistake. This music industry, they set up people who are built to make music but not do anything else. And we watch them make the music and the record labels get richer. But when it comes to their private life, well, it's like, we didn't bring them to be role models. And really, you didn't bring them to be role models. You brought them to make money. And you didn't really care about the other aspects of their life, where they're coming from to make it to this level. And it's like, I look at somebody like Dababy and I just wonder the kind of stuff he would have gone through for him to be at this kind of level, to act the way he does a lot of times. And, I think that really shouldn't be forgotten. And that's why a lot of times I do think at the same time that we have to show sympathy for people who are hurt, but we also have to start looking at choices people make. Don't cry in the bends. Don't cry in the bends unless that's, you understand what I'm saying? Because, anyway, so yeah, that's all I have to say.
Try and make your own money, because, and then these babes, they love titles too much, man. Oh, his dad is this. Oh, I'm dating this guy. Oh, Bro, make your own money and keep it moving, man. Don't be fazed by all of this celebrity, man. There's nothing there. There's nothing inside this thing.
But sometimes that shine will catch you for a second, like it will catch you for a minute, just for a minute.
For the ones that are moved, by it, you understand. For the ones that are moved by it, because I feel like a lot of people are still not moved by it. Do you understand? Like, I think it's about what moves you and what is it.
And I would say also taking responsibility for the things that move you, taking responsibility.
Can you
Yeah,
guys hear me?
I mean
Yes,
that's yeah, we
yes.
can hear you. Yeah, it's growth. Oh, somebody's trying to. One of the ladies trying to reach you, sir. One of your
I know, right?
ladies. One of the people
Listen,
he has on rotation. She's trying to reach you. Dikwa, what's up? Somebody trying to get you? Tell her it's no time. Oh, we're still in the middle of something. You talk to her
can you
later.
even can you even hear what's even going on there?
I don't know what's going on with him. G, my G, can you hear us?
He's struggling. Anyway, we'll pick up
Okay,
where we need.
let he'll pick up Sha. Sha, let's move
Mm-hmm.
on. So we kind of jumped in toxic relationship. Now this baby mother stuff, like it's.
Mm.
I wanted to just tease it just a little bit, just to, like it's so. Before it was just something we would joke about, something would be in songs, but this has now. It's now. I want to almost say it's mainstream culture. Like it was one thing before, but it's not just one type of person now where we see the baby mother scenarios. It's like, and what is the baby mother? That means you had a kid with somebody, but you all are not necessarily together. And I'm not just saying, when I say baby mother, I'm not saying someone who was married and then got divorced. And no, that's not, I'm talking about just people who meet, they date for a little while, then have a kid together, and then they separate and the relationship is different. So just that kind of thing, relationships, but relationship with kids, but they're not together. That kind of baby mother scenario. And I'm just like, okay, it was something, I don't feel it was that common before, but now looking at everything, it just seems to be like mainstream culture. It's like, how did we get here? And it's not just, when one might say, okay, is it, Western world, is it just an American thing? No, it's mainstream. If I throw it, like, what other cultures am I familiar with? English culture, mainstream. Nigerian culture itself, it's now almost becoming like, I don't want to say it's the norm, but it's not uncommon anymore. I won't even say it's frowned on anymore. It's like, particularly with, now, okay, Afrobeats is really hot right now. Those Afrobeat artists, most of them have baby mothers. And back then, if you as a Nigerian woman, just to be baby, but the thing is the culture too, that's the thing. If the baby father is rich, then they won't frown at you too much. So then again, it's like, okay, this whole thing, how did it explode? And it's like, how do we put the lid back on it? Is it something we put the lid back on it? Because people now say, this is how I've heard someone defend this thing. Someone's told me, well, you know what? There's, 1 man to 10 women. So blah, 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 like giving me like, okay, you got daughters, please. How do you feel about it? Tell me what you feel about it.
You might be surprised, but I'm just like, I think when it comes to love and how you choose to do all these things, I don't think I can really say I can put any labels on what people should and shouldn't do. So, for example, my daughters, I mean, and hopefully my wife's not listening, but my daughters, like, as long as they're in situations that, they feel valued and loved. Oh, this is. I don't want to be, I don't want to be stamped by this. But the truth of the matter is, let me go out of my situation and just speak broadly. Okay. I don't think in and of itself there's anything wrong with being a baby mother, because this world is crazy. This world is crazy. It is crazy in terms of people trying to find solutions and people trying to find love. You may be a woman or even a man somehow, I don't know how it works out, but you may be a man who is just interested in having a child. You don't want to be part of a family. Who am I to say that you shouldn't have that? It's not really my choice to say that. And I wouldn't even go as far as saying that, you won't find happiness. That's a lie. How many people are in marriages are not happy?
That miserable.
Why would I now? Yeah. So why would I now tell you, go there? So I don't think it's a problem as much as people going into situations that they don't want to go into. So maybe you don't want to be a baby mother, but you end up as one. Or maybe you don't mind being a baby mother, but your baby father is some a-hole that you never ever wanted to be with. Do you understand? Those are the kind of situations that I'd want to kind of talk to, not necessarily being a baby mother full stop. Because I have to say, I know some single mothers who may or may not have wanted to be in that situation, but you know what? They're okay. And I'm sure when they think about it in hindsight, if they're A, happy that they have the child, and also B, happy that they're not with the father of the child, then
I love that. Actually, I like actually that makes perfect sense. You got me with, however it works for you. If you have peace and you have joy, I guess what I'm looking at, that fulfillment. Yeah, if you have that fulfillment, you're happy, your children are well balanced and happy, then it works. But I guess I'm kind of looking at the toxic part where you just have these,
of course.
Baby mother, my baby father, and it's like you don't want to be with her, but you're just like, and just like, and then literally you're now blocking. You're now got this area around, like it just I think that's what is a turn off for me. But when you paint it like that, that makes it sound like, you know what, to each his own. Real talk, to each his own. And I love that you're the way you put it makes, I think that just kind of, you know, if Diplo's camera, he's coming back. Hold on, let me put him.
Yeah.
Dips.
But can
go ahead. No, go ahead.
I just want to quickly say something. But if we're discussing it as it's a problem, as it pertains, like I said, to people who may not want to be baby mothers, they wanted to be part of a family, I would say, again, we just have to look at what's happening in a lot of family units that are probably producing children who may not recognize their own self-worth, and they have esteem issues, because everybody knows that one person or more than one person that they may have like casual encounters here or there, but no matter what happens, they never get caught slipping. You know, both men and women, they never get caught slipping. A lot of these baby mothers get caught slipping sometimes, and some people even want to go into it because they think the partner is attractive financially, physically, and they don't mind. So someone maybe with a healthy self-esteem, whether that means saying no to unsafe sex or saying no to being with someone just because they are rich. You sometimes can't teach that if they don't have that themselves. So you know.
No, I can to go back to. Oh, there he is. All right,
don't
worry.
It's
At
all
least
good.
we got you, son.
Number 34.
So Dips, DJ Dips, like, so you heard us talking about this. I don't know if you heard all of Okwe's, you know, his synopsis, but I just wanted to get your opinion.
Scenario.
Yeah, the baby mother scenario,
said,
like, how you feel about this? Like, what's your opinion? Like,
Okwe said he doesn't have any issues against it.
He was,
I don't have
his
any
synopsis.
I don't have any. Okay, go ahead.
His synopsis, and I like the way he puts it, is like, you know what, to each his own. If you have peace and joy with it, because I'm not going the traditional route. As in, you know what, you know, the horse and carriage, da 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 da. Yeah, if you don't go through that route, and you just you're in a relationship and you have a kid, if it's not a toxic scenario where you can both be great co-parents, then he has no X, or he's not fronting upon the baby mother scenario. But it just seems that in the spotlight today, a lot of the time it's just these negative, you know, connotations, the negative light, negative reflection. They have a negative or toxic relationship, and it bleeds into all these, what we see of the negative baby mother scenarios kind of sullies it. But he's saying is like, if it's a, you know, if they're two adults whose interest is put up, if the child interest is put above theirs, then no wahala. He's good with it. And
I think it's just one of these names that's, I think it's just one of these names that society has given one funny king. But I mean, first of all, for me, it's like, what happened? Like, how did you become a baby mother? Like, if it's one of those situations where you were dating this guy, or you got married to this guy and it didn't work out, and then fine, I understand, you can't kill yourself now, you have to leave, right? So in that kind of situation,
I can't kill myself.
But you also have those ones that actually don't want to get married, they just want to have a child. You have that percentage of people that think that way. You know what? I don't want any wife stress. I just want a child, and I'm good. You get. So I mean,
I get
guess
that,
like,
and I understand. And then there's the other component where that baby is a checkbook, and that's where you get a lot of that negativity. I think probably when that intent, like when somebody, because you just gave a second scenario where, okay, there's a first scenario that you gave, which like, you know, you're in a relationship, it didn't work out, but we have a kid and we're going to do the best we can. Then you gave a second scenario. You said, you know what, I don't want this relationship for Hala. I don't want to waste money on a wedding. I know I'm not going to be with you for all this time, but we have this kid and it's going to be good. But I was talking about a third scenario where you literally conceived the baby with, you know, dollar signs or naira signs or pound signs in your eyeballs. Right, that was going to be your retirement plan. And
the guy saw that your dad was rich and then decided to.
That's true. Let's look at it both ways. Yo, because men are greedy. We have some chicken head males too. So that's true. And I think that's a good way to kind of put it together. Like, I think a lot of the negative scenarios probably come from that, because the intent, like a company's mission statement, if you don't have a solid mission statement when you build the company, you know, the values, if it's not based on a great mission statement, the foundation is weak. Thank you. And so it's like with those kind of relationship, foundation is weak already, and you bring another part into it, it's just ready for a horrible earthquake and everything comes crashing down. And I think that kind of I like the way we kind of ended it with that. Like, yeah, pretty much, you start with a shaky foundation, authentic with each other as to what you want from the relationship. Anything that comes out of that relationship, there's going to be some turmoil. I like that because I want to go into, before I go into the next one, anything else okay, you look like you're pensive and you think we've killed this topic. Yeah.
Do you guys feel like it's possible that the concept of marriage is like played out?
I won't say played out. I would say that the dominance, the need to just state it as the singular way or singular method of or not even method, but you know what I mean, the singular example of a family. I think that's definitely crumbling, basically. I would definitely fight for the institution of a family, because I think the same way you would treat single families now, some people are treating, the traditional family, and I don't think you should do that. But at the same time, I just think both sides should just be happy and just exist. Just exist. As long as you're happy, just exist. Just be happy.
I love that question. I love your answer, because I love it. That's true. That's a good question. What do I feel
Because in
about
today's world, you kind of ask yourself, man, is it possible to actually, okay, you get married at 28, and then you're with this guy forever, you're with this one guy forever, you never look the other way or do any other thing. In today's world, is it possible?
It's possible. It's possible. Now, I can't talk from experience, clearly, but I think it's possible, but a lot of work has to be done. Like you said, you have to. I mean, because it's possible. Let me just say it's possible, and I'll say for a few reasons. One, you may have even people that come together. They don't necessarily have tools to make it, but together they actually build themselves, and they actually get the tools while they're in that relationship. Or there's some people who actually that first relationship will not work, but they learn something from it, and they get the tools and meet somebody else who also, that willingness to work on it. So it's possible, but you can't escape. There's no shortcut. I think that would be the conclusion. I don't think there's any shortcut to getting there. The work has to be done. You see people doing all these dating shows, married at first sight, why they're doing it? Because they think they can skip steps. Yo, you can't skip any step. You're going to have to put that work in. Is it going to be upfront, or it's going to be on the back end? But that work needs to be put in, because you don't put on the work, it's not going to last.
In every aspect. In every aspect, because you also want to stay attracted to the person you're with. So like, in every aspect, in the sense that the babe will put in her part, the guy will put in his part.
The guy too has to put in his part. You can't just walk around the pot belly and think it's okay.
Exactly.
It's not okay. It's not.
Because sometimes it's not attractive anymore.
Sometimes, or all the time, it's not. All the time, it's not. If you're going to judge it, the same judgment you use on a chick, please let's use it for the males as well.
Use on the guy, yeah.
So yeah, but I like that. That's a good question. I mean, and it's to each his. Once again, we'll come down to the conclusion, to each his own. Is it concept? There's more than one way to skin a cat. There's more than one way to to get to where you need to go. And where do you need to go? A lot of times people don't even know where they're going. So how would they know what path to take? So yeah, I actually kind of like that. But as we get towards another section here, this side chick ministry, the side chick ministry, the side B, Scooby snacks, whatever you may call it. Back in the day, she was behind closed doors with the curtains drawn. He would see her once a week, put money on the dresser. Now the chick wants to go to the company dinners. You want to come to the company dinners now. She wants to be seen by his colleagues. They've blown the top. This side chick thing, they've blown the top off. Side chicks no longer want to be on the side. They want to be neck and neck with the main chick. But what is a side chick really? Because
just be like my guy D-Ray. Let's have two babes and let two of them understand the situation and let everybody be happy.
I mean, some people do that. Yeah. But it's
and some are happy in those situations too. Instead of trying to dodge, and I don't know, dodging is long, to be honest.
Bro, so is that where you're heading to now, son?
Show me.
You
sometimes I think about it. That what if I had two babes who are actually very good friends, and they were open to the idea of three of us being a happy family? Would it be that bad?
I'm looking at Oprah and I'm just dying. Oprah's head just went like this. Oprah's eyes closed, like, yo, son.
No. I'm just saying that, like,
Yeah, but no,
to
but
save ourselves,
hey,
you know,
hey, I don't know. What do you think about it, sir?
countless,
Like, have you put that into? I mean, like, an experiment requires, you have
countless
to test out the
threesomes.
components.
Uh,
You have. I mean,
fake
isn't that the whole
threesomes.
concept of the polyamorous? I think is what they call it, polyamorous
Yeah,
relationships.
yeah.
Like, if you're
I
both
mean, because
clued in, believe it.
if all parties are in agreement with it, like, I'm good. Both babes are good. They're all sharing each other. Everybody's
Ch-
happy.
ch- um, hmm.
You don't know about that.
I'm not that advanced.
I mean, like, it just cuts out the whole cheating thing. Like, I don't have to go and
It
start
does.
cheating.
It does. I
And
mean,
then,
definitely,
yeah,
you want people to
everybody.
be upfront.
Yeah,
Yeah, you want to be upfront. So, I mean, the truth, I guess we're coming early on. We're already talking about Twitch's on. Okay, what do you think? Because I see you just shifting. Like, I want to hear what, like, bruh.
No, but how are we approaching this? What are you asking really?
So, what am I asking? So, he brought on a concept, and I definitely want, before I dissect that, it's like, okay, because I'm like, that's a thought. The polyamorous thing is like, because that would completely annihilate this side chick ministry. But initially, I kind of talked about with this, what's a side chick? I talked about what we thought side chicks were before, but now they want to be neck and neck. They want to come to the company dinners with the wife. It's like, is this something that is going away anytime soon? Is it a real thing? Is that something? Do we need to now include that in the legal clause? Because they have common law wife, is that common law side chick? It's like, is Scooby Snap going to enter the book, Ebonics Bible, or something like? What? Also, I should ask you. Let me name. So first of all, what's a side chick to you? Is this something, a phenomenon that's real, and is it something that should continue? Is going to continue? Like, what's your opinion about it?
Of course, it's very real. A side chick is a mistress, and mistresses have always been around. I don't know what the male version is. Are you a minister or something? But it's a mistress. It's a mistress.
Escort,
Yeah, and mistresses
gigolo.
have always been. They've always been around. The phenomenon of maybe wanting to be on the same level or occupy the same space, that might be new now, just really because of social media and
But there's no
everybody
shame. There's
just
no
wants them to
shame.
be.
There's no shame in being a side chick anymore. Before there was shame. You would disgrace your family and your ancestors. But now it's like, the family will be riding that, the range
Because
with
we
you that you got
yeah
from side
because
chick ministry.
yeah because we've become more commercialized. We've become more the children or the energy of capitalism. Because why would you shame somebody if the person is showing you that they're in a better position than you, the shamer? You're trying to shame somebody and they're telling you I'm in a better position than you. I think that it's just a situation where people don't care anymore. There's nothing to be embarrassed about because you're almost getting the best part of the partner. You know what? That's not even important. I'm guessing you're really asking why are people just not ashamed? I think first of all, it's sheep mentality. You start hailing somebody, you start telling them that, hey, you know what? Hey, go get yours, go do this, and then everybody's like, oh yeah, cool. So there's nothing wrong with that. And then on top of that, are you really losing? Depending on what people see as losing. Everybody's trying to get the bag these days. Get the bag, get the bag, get the bag, get the bag, get the bag. A side chick who was still walking to the bus stop would be laughed at every single place, everywhere. She would not even be on live. How? She's on live saying,
How about
I'm about
Sideman?
to take the bus to go. Side man or side woman, or if you're on the bus telling people that you're on the way to your man's house, they'll be laughing at you. But if you're in your Benz, if you're in your Rover saying, hey, look, he bought this for me, there are a lot of people that are going to be like, you know what, I wouldn't mind being in your position straight. And that's what it is.
They will salute you.
Mm.
And that's
I feel like a lot of times some of us get into these side chick situations because we don't even know what we want from the get-go. I was telling someone recently, I said I feel like sometimes some men should have money before they get married because some don't even know who they are till they have money. Like, you get like you're broke. You think
real talk.
this kind
Real
of person.
talk.
When that money comes in, you start to realize, actually, like
you don't know who you are. You haven't even become a man yet.
So that money.
No, it's true because sometimes, their balls haven't dropped yet, so they're not basing their voice, and all of a sudden you say the person's changed, but you actually didn't meet. They hadn't grown yet.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
true.
So like
I didn't think of
sometimes
it
you
like that.
realize that some of the most faithful guys are the broke niggas because they don't have money. So what are they even cheating for?
That's a good
You
point.
get.
That's a
But
good point.
when that
That's
money
a good
hits,
point.
you now
Said in
realize,
turn
man, I can't be
that
eating pounded yam every
that,
day.
that I'm a package. Like the
That's
way
a
the
good
You
baby
know
point.
what
was
I'm
doing
saying?
himself, like, do you know I'm fine? That's what the
You
baby
get.
was telling
You
somebody.
feel me? Yeah, you get. And if you
He's
check
That's
the
a
fine.
good
baby,
point.
maybe like 10 years ago. Maybe like 10 years
You
ago, that
walk
guy couldn't afford shit.
all 5'2" of you, you're fine, but you want to
Yeah.
That's a
disgrace
good
it's
point.
fine
You feel
by
me?
all accounts, it's fine, babe. That
You
see
get.
her level is bigger than your level. Let's not talk about money, you just put them.
100%.
But all of a sudden now he's doing her like she's a Chinese takeaway.
Yeah.
But is that really him now? Some people you say now that they have the money, they're showing you who they are. But is that really him? We forget about power corrupting. And when
No, so
power
what I'm saying
corrupts
is
a person,
maybe that
it
was
doesn't
him.
make
Maybe that
you
was
who
him
you
all
are.
along.
Of course, maybe that was him.
But he
But
just
then
didn't know, like the
also,
money
maybe
brought it
it's
out.
not. Of course. But then at the same time, maybe it's not him. Because I say to people, I say the opposite. I say sometimes maybe find your happiness before the money comes. Because when you have money and things are always good, your tolerance for bad times is very low. That's not to do with personality or characteristics. That's because you are a human being. And if when you have the money and somebody is in your ear shouting, and you can step outside and have a whole new life, why wouldn't you want to? That's why celebrities do what they do. I don't think it's a personality trait. It's more a whole me. Why am I going to sit down and watch this person nag in my ear when I can just go out and
When
do
I can
something
just go
about
to
it,
Spain
change the
and
situation?
eat
Yeah,
margarita.
I'm not. I think that there's two ways to look at it. Some people, it's true.
Mm-hmm.
You don't see their real side until they get money, and then for some people, it's not about their real side. It's just about the power of having all this, whatever you want to call it, in front of you that is accessible that before wouldn't have been accessible. You know.
Because before you didn't have the means to
Yeah, you didn't have the means. You didn't have
get
the
it.
means.
Yeah. So is money even the bad part, or it's just?
I think
It
it's
just
just a case by case situation for some people. Because some people that don't get married until you're rich. They will be 70. They won't be married because they're waiting for that perfect
But that's not for
situation.
everybody. I'm saying for
No,
some
for
people,
sure.
they're
No,
better off
of course.
getting married
I'm
when they
not
have
giving
money.
any black and white strategies here. Like I'm just saying, you brought up a good point. I think it makes sense for certain people, and then for other people, maybe not. Yeah.
Chai, I
Because
mean,
okay.
yeah. I
I
didn't think
think
about
you're
it, I
about
guess,
to.
but which is why it's good to get opinions. I hadn't thought of it like that. I was just like, yo, kill the side chicks, get rid of them. But maybe they have a
Yeah,
purpose.
definitely.
I don't know.
I mean, but when you say kill the side chicks,
Okay, I'm being facetious. When I say kill, okay, this is
yeah.
I don't
No.
mean
I
that.
even know that. I
Yeah,
know that.
yeah.
But are you looking at it from a point of view where as a woman, you're saying men do not have another person, basically, or is there something deeper?
I'm saying, this is what I'm saying. If as women as a whole, if we say we have an issue with side chick ministry, Scooby Snacks, side B, whatever you want to call it, if we have an issue with that, I don't even think, and the way we approach it now, so the way the general consensus approaches side chick ministry now is they want to disgrace the side chick, they want to abuse her, they want to stone her, they want to throw tomatoes in her face. But has that affected side ministry by any means? No. Side ministry has blossomed and blown up.
Of course.
So clearly, the current tactics are not working. You facing the babies, you're treating a symptom of the problem. But this is what I'm saying is like, if we want to eradicate side chick ministry, what we need to do is either face the guy or last, as the female confederation, we need to have a meeting, a federal meeting, and say, yo, side chick, are we going to keep side chick ministry? And are we going to, if we're going to keep it, what are the rules of engagement? And if we want to scatter it, let's scatter it right now. That's I'm saying. That's what I think.
Yeah, that's never going to work because, and I think you see, whenever I hear all these kind of socialist like gatherings, let's do things as one. Yeah, that's never going to happen. That's never, because they will say yes, and when the situation benefits them or whatever, yeah, they're going to go for what they have to go for. I think these things cannot go anywhere. We're talking literally. Let's even forget the side chick or whatever. We're talking hardcore infidelity. Infidelity is not going anywhere. It's not going anywhere. It's not going anywhere. So yeah, if infidelity is not going anywhere, that means side chick is not going anywhere, or side man is not. They're not going anywhere. It's not going anywhere.
And there you have it. I think that's the conclusion. So these scenarios, really, it's these things are going to keep happening. I hear you. It's going to keep happening. But then those parties who are involved in it, we need to be involved enough to know what's working for us and what's not working for us. So in other words, Dani needs to find exit stage left. And my question is, where are Dani's people? Where are Dani's people? Dani has a brother that was doing live where he was at. Yeah, when you come to the west side, no. I would take a plane and come and meet them right where they are and take care of that issue in live, not to be talking on live and say, if you meet me here, let's meet outside. No, that's where I'm. So I hear what you're saying. I hear you. You
people are wicked. People are wicked. You always want the man to go and do something. You think he's not smart. Somebody shouting from
someone.
He's good.
What are you gonna say?
Go on, man.
And again, some of these babes don't have shame. The same way some of these guys. I said again, some of these babes don't have shame. The same way some of these guys don't have shame as well. Like it's both ways. Like why would you know clearly this guy is married, but you carry your big ass and you want to go and intercept everything. Like
but the man too knows that he's married now. He carried his big ass and went there too. I actually probably went to look for the trouble first of all.
Okay.
Like he went there looking for it.
Okay.
But yeah,
yeah, I mean, of course, the guy is to blame as well, because I mean, obviously, you wanted to do it. Damn, just not. Hear me?
So yeah,
we can hear you. Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah. I was saying, obviously, the guy is to blame as well.
Okay.
You carried your big head and you answered it. So, yeah.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, we heard you. I hear you. So, we can hear you.
Yeah, I was saying that, of course, the guy's to blame too, because, you carried your big head and knowing fully well that you have your wife at home and you want to cheat. So, both parties are to blame.
But you people were giving each other a pound, like high five, like look at the caliber of my side chick and blah, 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 blah. So still playing still playing little boy games. And this is one of my popular phrases that I like to say. I'm going to throw that again. When you play stupid games, you win stupid prizes. So y'all be doing that like just for bragging rights, essentially, because in a lot of arenas, side chick stuff is a sport. It's like hunting. Like, how the royals go hunting, you'll be hunting for babes. And then now be comparing, like, this is my side babe. Can you imagine how the main woman, like nonsense like that. So I don't know. It's just like at the end of the day, stupid.
But you think side chicks are not comparing to see how my main guy has a Benz in it. See, your guy is still giving you oyster. You're still taking you to his house. So look at you, bro. Look at you. I have a Ranger, bro.
I guess.
You're saying this is one of the reasons. You're saying this is one of the reasons that you're popular, right?
No, one of my popular phrases that I always like throwing out was you play stupid games, you win stupid prizes. So you said the guy too carried his eyes there, yeah. So he and then when he gets burnt, like why he looking confused? Like if he gets burnt from like he loses money, why is he looking confused? He started playing that game to start with. If he gets trouble with his anything that comes out of that, I'm not trying to victim blame if he ends up being the victim.
No, of course not.
So
let's all just know what we want and stick to it.
Okay, good. You just rolled into the synopsis. So how would you guys conclude? Like, if you wanted to just tie in neatly, any last phrases, any last words, any last opinions? If you were going to give somebody out there some words of wisdom, just from because like I said, life is the best teacher. As we look at that, like if you're watching a car crash, how do you make sure your car doesn't crash as well?
Service your car regularly.
And how you service your car? Because you can have a well-serviced car that can still crash.
I use and stick to one oil. Stick to one particular oil. Don't be switching oils anyhow.
Okay. Okay.
Yes.
So
that
yeah,
way the
he
car
was definitely saying.
doesn't malfunction.
So he's saying don't be part of the
So,
polyamorous community. It's not going to work. So he's voting for monogamy here. Like if you're a monogamous person, man or woman, that you have more peace as well. If that's that's what you want. If you want peace and quiet, he's saying if you stick with monogamy, you're going to have peace and quiet.
just stick with one
Okay,
person.
that's what DJ Dips is saying to y'all. OPE.
This thing, I don't know thyself in it. These are just one of these. I think the theme of the day has been like, do you basically? Because when you were saying that last part about playing stupid games, stupid prices, I know somebody personally who was married, much older than me. I had no influence over this person. I didn't think anything. I thought it was actually kind of pointless. But he was, he had somebody on the side, and he was besotted by her. He was mesmerized. He thought she was amazing, and even though he knew that she was not exclusive to him, he would gladly buy her things that he wouldn't buy his wife.
But he had his own wife.
Yeah, whatever happened in that situation, as long as he had the chance to have some time with her, he was okay. And whatever would have happened moving on, he would have been happy. That's not the
but that's usually
one side. But that's what I'm trying to say.
If I have a wife, how am I going to be controlling your life?
What I'm trying to say is, know what you're getting into and be happy what you're going to get out of it. Good or bad. Even obviously in these kind of cases, I'm saying 8 out of 10 times the woman is generally the loser. But while you can't predict what's going to happen tomorrow, sometimes you have to be careful when you see somebody with a particular track record. Like I'm saying, anybody who hits future up now, I don't want you to come and cry to me. I'm not saying that you should know for sure what he's going to do tomorrow, but like if you hit future up today, don't cry to me tomorrow because I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear what you thought you were going to achieve when you met somebody who has 8 baby mothers. So it's just sometimes it's like you said, if you know that okay, this person has a baby mother, they've gone through some kind of drama. I guess okay, 1 baby mother, 2 baby mothers. There's nothing wrong with thinking that the situation is going to be different this time around, but just be careful. Be careful. There's nothing else that can happen. We're all imperfect, so be careful. Yeah.
I like that. And I think you guys have pretty much said anything I need to say. I still stick with my socialist idea where I'm just like, if women, because if for the most part, it seems women who are most affected by this, women, if we have an issue with Sidechick ministry, we have an issue with the Scooby Snack ministry, then we need to sit down. Like, if we know it can't, if we know it has to continue, then we now need to dictate the rules of engagement. Going to the Sidechick one-on-one is not working. It hasn't worked. It's still not going to work. So it has to be a different way. And then go with that. But I would just say for a young woman out there, if I'm thinking about Dani's story altogether, it's just like, what I think is what would make you see something. If it walks like a duck, quacks like a duck, it's a duck. Like you see the guy has done this to somebody in the past. Why approach? Why go into it? Or rather go into it with your eyes open and don't be surprised. But the minute you get disrespected the way I feel Dani was disrespected, that's when, exit stage left. Like if that chick was my sister, I won't be talking on the live right that Monday. Messy Monday, I'd already been there. Messy Monday, picking her up in a car with some guys in black. I may not even beat the guy. I'll just pick my sister up and move. So it's like, if you find yourself in that situation, respect yourself, and then just find your way out. That to me is it.
Okay. That's fair.
So yeah, that's it. So guys, it's been real. What you had something to say? Or we lost him again? What did you say something before we sign up?
I'll say when you were saying something about carrying some boys to the house, I said the baby can fight, and we fight all of you.
Somebody, wait, is this the person that murked somebody self-defense? See, brother, be smart. Just get an Uber for your sister. Pick her up and go and pick her at the airport.
That's what I'm saying. Go and pick. That's all. That's all. We don't. There's no talk again. Relationship is not by force. But I've got things to live for. Like trust and believe. And you guys always say that the girls in the family were the thugs. I'm just going to roll up in there and pick her up. Like, I'm not going to waste my time on my energy with you. I'm not going to catch a case for something like you're not worth catching a case.
I thought you roll up in there and go and fight.
No, roll up in there and pick her up. No, you might slap me up, but I'm not going to be, there'll be no, it's not a gun scenario. I'm just joking. But
so you
Dabale.
How are you? Let's go.
Let's wait outside.
No, but I think to me it's more action, like, because the truth is we don't know how, like you rightfully said at the beginning, at the top of the conversation, where you said that, you know what, we don't know what transpired between the two of them. We don't. He seems he appears to have like a certain system he follows. I pick my sister up and exit stage left. Relationship is not by force. You're not going to starve on my watch. End of it's not by force. That one that she's staying there doing all this, that is unnecessary, sis. That's all I have to say. So, I really appreciate, my brothers joining. You're still flabbergasted. What do you want to say?
No, this guy.
I was trying to think about it, like, I don't know. Let's just do it.
Okay. So I appreciate my brothers joining me for this conversation. We'll have a bunch of conversations like this. You're probably going to see. See how he's not done talking. So we're probably going to have more convos like this.
Part 2.
We'll probably end up doing like live. We did this. This is pre-recorded, and then Brad said he want part 2. We're going to do part 2. So we're definitely going to do something either on this platform, or he also has. What's your platform's name again? Tell me.
Unscripted, the podcast.
Unscripted.
Say that again. Unscripted, the podcast. So we'll either have. Yo, you know what? Why don't you? You probably won't have time to type it in. I was going to try and put it in Unscripted, the podcast.
Don't worry. Because I was going to put it into the bottom of your page.
I will put it, and I'll put his thing into like the description. That will help. And so pretty much, it's going to be his podcast is going to be in my description box, and so we'll have conversations like this both on my platform and on his platform, and it's just going to be like dining table convo, just like having a convo, and we can share. Say what you want in the comments, and then of course give us, if there's show ideas you want to throw at me and my brothers. Of course, I have sisters too. Throw it out there, and then we'll think of show ideas and come back. But once again, everyone, thanks for joining us. Don't forget to subscribe. Will I still be doing TV shows? Yeah, I've just been really busy. I had finished exams, but they're still, I love coming on to see you guys and talk with you guys. So yeah, thank you very much for joining us, everybody. So it's ready to love. I've been missing because for like a month and a half I've been studying, so I haven't even looked at it.
Did you watch Squid Games?
Sure. Did I watch you?
Squid Games. Did you watch Squid Games?
I tried. I would try again. I tried, but the first, and this was probably during my exam. 10 minutes in, I was tired. I saw them running around the pitch. I was tired. People say it's good. I'll try it again. Was Squid Games it was like that? It was good.
It wasn't bad.
Okay. Anyway, we could think of something that we can talk about. Real life topics shows. You'll see us. It's like this. You will see us again talking about the topics. So everyone, over and out. Thanks for joining.
All right,
signing out over Christopher Okwe and my brother DJ Dips, one of the hottest DJs in Lagos right now. All right, guys, it's been real. And